We got to mute ourselves, right?
Yes. Hey. No makeup, girl. Yeah, I don't have my makeup on. I'm cute though. No makeup. It's Mother's Day. I've been cooking all day. Hey. Hey, live. Hey, Facebook. I did put on a little lip gloss, but child, this is me in the raw, in the flesh. It's me. Hey, Facebook. Happy Mother's Day out there to all the mothers, grandmothers, auntie mamas, godmothers. Oh, gosh, there's so many of us. Mother in waiting. Happy Mother's Day. I am talking to, as I share out, oh, let me tell y'all, I'm so discombobulated, right? For those that have seen the show, right, I'm not, like right now, I'm a little bit orange because the lighting is off. I don't have my lights on. I don't have no makeup on. I don't have my banner in the back. Like I'm discombobulated. Sorry, but I love y'all. So I'm talking to the authors tonight. We're going to talk about writing books and what made us write books. And we're going to talk about how COVID has impacted, and I said it that way for a reason, all that we got going on as authors, as entrepreneurs, as speakers. We're going to talk about that tonight. So just hang in there with us. Share. As I tell people to mute their phones and mine not. Yeah, that'd be me. Okay, it's shared. So hello, Facebook again. I am your host, Nikita Moore, and you are tuned into the Art of Transparency Talk Show. I am makeupless, lightless. It's okay. It's Mother's Day. It's what you look like when you cooked all day. I have with me a few ladies that are on the Art of Transparency tour. And then I have a very special guest, right? She was with us last year. She is an author of several books. So I've got Letitia with me today, Santrisa, Luberta, CJ, and Marquita. Yay! And guess what? They are all authors. Some of them have multiple books, right? I'm a little behind because they got multiples and stuff. I just got two. So we just gonna get into the conversation. What made you write the book? That's the first conversation. What inspired you to actually write the book? And we can start with who wants to start? Letitia, you want to start? You don't have to. She's like, do you call me now? I'm gonna start.
First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's always a blessing to be able to share. To all of the beautiful ladies tonight, I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you. So what made me write my book? Honestly, my book kind of happened just by happenstance. It wasn't necessarily my intention to write a book, but I used to journal a lot through school and through high school and through college. And when I went back and started reading my journals, I noticed like, man, this could actually help somebody. And so at first I was a little bit nervous about it because if you know anything about me, that's why I love Nikita, because she's transparent. And obviously that's the name of the tour. I'm a very transparent person. And so I tell a lot of my story in it. But, you know, I felt like when I was coming up, didn't nobody tell me these type of things. You know, they didn't warn me. They didn't give me the warning signs. They didn't tell me what to look out for. So I felt like it's my responsibility to help somebody else. And even if that's just one person. So that's why I got started. And since then, I've noticed how along the way it's been a blessing. And so just what I do now. Yeah.
You just kept going. Oh, that's amazing. So next to you is Marquita. How did you get started? What made you write your first book?
So I got started because I was going on this journey. So basically it came down to I had a story to tell about my life, and I was like, would this help somebody, because I started working in a children's psych hospital, and I started
Mm.
seeing some things that kind of mimic what I went through when I was growing up. And
Okay.
so I was like, well, I wonder if people knew that they weren't alone in this process, would they be more willing to talk about mental illness? And
Mm.
so I um, started thinking about how I would put the story out. Who would I be? Who would be my audience? Who I'll be talking to, and what I'll be talking about in particular. And
That is
so
amazing.
that's what started my writing journey. I used to write when I was younger as a coping mechanism, because I had issues with depression and stuff like that. And so I would write stories that would take me away on a fantasy land. And so I just picked it back up. But this time I'm talking about my life and exposing everything.
My mother was here earlier and talking about mental health, right? My mother was here earlier and she was just like, depression does not exist. I don't understand depression. And I just was like, see, Mom, you the reason it took me so long to go to a therapist, because all I heard was, girl, there's no such thing as depression. What are you talking about? And even today, we had a conversation, and because I'm an adult, what she say, don't, I'm saying, okay, Mom, whatever. But she was just like, what is depression? What does that mean? We were all poor and broke. So just get up and keep moving. And I'm like, Mom, that's just that's not healthy. Like, I get it that you may have never felt that way, but that's just not everybody. So she does, yeah, that's a whole nother. So guys, I just want you to see this shirt, because my beautifully talented shirt maker makes these shirts for me. And I noticed that you can always see from here up when I do these lives. And I don't want you to think, oh, she just got on a regular t-shirt. I do, but I don't, right? So I want you guys to see this shirt. I think it is amazing. I think it is amazing. So I don't look too bad today. I just don't look dressed up. So Luberta, what happened? What made you start writing? What was it that made you just like, I'm gonna write this book?
Actually, my reason, it was from my first business coach. We were kind of talking about starting the business, working with middle-aged women, trying to figure out how I could reach my target audience. And so then she suggested that I write a book. But it was something that in the back of my mind, I've always wanted to do. Because just like the other two ladies have stated, I do a lot of journaling too. I use that as a coping mechanism when I'm having bad days. And I'm determined that my good days are going to outweigh my bad days. So that's how I express myself. So I felt that if I wrote the book and if I shared my story, because I too am very transparent about my life. So I was like, okay, so you're just gonna put it all out here so that everybody knows all your dirt. They know what
I
makes you
think
tick.
that was everybody's thing. Like, if I put this book out there, they're gonna know everything. Am I ready to be this transparent? Like, I can tell
Right.
people, like, girl, let me tell you, I went through blah, 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 blah. But when you write it in that book,
Yeah,
it's like, because you don't know who's gonna read it.
right.
Then you got some people that you think are your friends and they gonna read it. Can this be used against me
Right.
type thing? Are they gonna run and tell it? But then I start thinking about, like, how they gonna run and tell it? I already ran and I
But you already told it. You already ran and told it. Because like even when I wrote the book, I mean, there were some things in the book that I had never talked about. So, I mean, so some people found out some things about, about my childhood, because I always started just talking about the teenage pregnancy. So I didn't talk about what happened when I was 10, so then when I had to write that in the book. And so when you put it out there and when you're writing, I mean, you feel all those emotions. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know if I signed up for this. I don't know if this is what I really wanted to do. But then I pressed through and then I got through. But my thing is, I thought that once I wrote the book, that would be the end of it. That would be my talking point. I didn't think I would have to talk to anybody.
I'm here with you. I'm gonna write this book and it's gonna sit on this little old shelf over here, and that's gonna be the end of that. It's out of
No,
me, so I wrote it.
I mean, I felt that I wrote the book, but I wouldn't have to speak in front of people. I figured the book would do, the book
Oh
would do
yeah.
the talking.
Mm,
Because
sorry.
I'm one of those people that I'm in the background. I don't really like speaking
But
in
you
front of
speak
people.
so well, Luberta,
Thank
and
you.
your
But
story is so amazing.
okay.
She gonna get her life
She on
together,
our tour,
honey.
y'all.
Get together.
She gonna get her life together. Chantrisa, what made you write your book? She a little under the weather, y'all, so y'all got to deal with her. She don't feel good. And no, it ain't COVID. Thank you, Jesus. Stop blaming everything on COVID. Okay, keep going.
For me, I guess my story is different because my book is a devotional, and I took it from the angle of it's so many people that's hurting who have buried their hurt and who are trying to move forward. So I wanted to address it, and how I wrote it was from the standpoint of each devotional dealt with the emotion of whatever they were dealing with from whatever traumatic experience that they went through.
Okay.
So for me writing it, even though like in my intro, I kind of tell what happened to me, for being sexually assaulted, I didn't go into every extreme detail. Like I did a book prior to when I talked about being married 2 times and divorced and things like that. But this particular book is like there's people hurting who don't want to actually talk about their hurt. And so how God just kind of led me to write it was to deal with the inner part that they haven't released as of yet. So that's kind of the angle that I kind of wrote the book from, because it's so many people like that. And what I've learned just from the testimonies and just from speaking to people, like, I was on an interview and we were talking about the book, and when we went off, the person was like, oh my gosh, you really don't understand, I went through blah 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 blah. So I mean, there's so many people who just have this mask on and put on this facade as if they've never gone through anything, and they're just this strong, and inside they're hurting. So that's who the book speaks to. But I commend you all, because I haven't got to that point to where I totally told my story. I could verbalize it. I know it's coming soon, but right now I haven't done it yet.
It's coming. CJ.
Yes,
My
ma'am.
love, how did you write your book? What made you say, I'm going to put this in a book?
Well, like all the other ladies, I journal, and I've been journaling, I think, since about the 6th or 7th grade. And that's actually when I started writing fiction, but I never wanted anybody to read my writing. It's like my thoughts on paper, but I needed to write it. I needed to get it out. It's like these voices in my head, like I was schizo or something, and I had to get it out, but I would just, pack them away. And then and I finally wrote my book, and it's called I'm Doing It. It was during a time when I had been wanting to do a lot of things, but just had, there were just reasons that stopped me from doing it. And mainly it was a lack of confidence in myself. I kept thinking other people could do it better, or people are going to laugh at me, or I'm too old to be doing it now. So all of these things stopped me from doing it. And I just had some things that happened during that time. And I was just starting to get sick and tired of my life. And I saw people around me doing the things that I wanted to do, but I was, just put it off. And then finally one day, I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Sick and tired.
And, I wrote the book, and I just felt like, okay. And it's basically talking about the things that stop you from moving forward in your life, like procrastination that'll stop you from moving forward. Your friends will stop you, your family, you yourself. Like I was like my biggest hindrance. So once I got out of my own way, then I was able to, get the book out there, and I'm actually starting another book now on all those things that happened in my life that, I was like, I don't know if I want that stuff out there. I'm the preacher's wife. I don't know if I want, and then when we broke up, I don't know if I want that. But I'm starting, another book now where it'll share a lot of the things because I just want other women to be motivated and inspired by my life. And that, if I can get past that, then you can too. So that's how I'm doing it came about.
It's funny that was your last line. Like, if I can get past it, then you can too, because that's kind of how the tour started. And Letitia and all of you guys can attest to, it's really, the tour really started because my story is really not my story, right? I've written this book, and I have to say that when I wrote my book, I was in a really bad place. I just kind of wanted to expose everybody, right? And tell my story, but it was so freeing. It was so, it felt amazing to finally get that out, that hurt, and I put it on a piece of paper and turned into a book, and that book turned into a second book as to how my life, looking for that love from my dad, I looked for any kind of love from a man, right? So all of that kind of transpired into, of course, this tour, of course, this talk show. The talk show is really because everybody can't get on the tour. And not saying it like, that, but everybody can't travel. Everybody's job doesn't allow them to do that, but there are so many stories. There are so many things that need to get out. There are so many people that are living a life of mental health or abuse in some kind of way, or they are, you know what I'm saying? They're just kind of suffering in silence a little bit. And I developed this talk show because I wanted people like us to come on and say, hey, you can do it too. So when I thought about authors, of course, I have all of you guys on the tour, but there are some very special authors in and around me. Letitia has this group, and I want her to talk about that, but she has this group on Facebook. And when I tell you guys, it has really and tremendously blessed me, like, because she talks about all kinds of stuff, and she comes from a minister, but it's not, I don't feel like I'm being preached to. I feel like she's coming from a place where I've been there, done that. Let me tell you, this is what I've been through. And she's not telling you, don't do this and don't do, you know what I'm saying? She's more so like, you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. And that's why this show is not scripted. I want to have a conversation. Conversations are so much better when you just kind of, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What made you be an author? What made you deal with the stuff? Well, how did you deal with the stuff that you're dealing with? So Letitia, come and talk to us about your group and tell us the name of your books. I don't think nobody did that except for you, CJ. What's the name of your book?
So the name of my latest book, I'm actually releasing another book on my birthday. Now, I haven't even shared that with nobody. That's mad exclusive. But I'm releasing another book in a week and a half. It's like half a week, on May 22nd on my birthday. But my latest book is called The Good in Goodbye. And I wrote that book because the Lord had to take me on a journey of letting go. It was so hard for me coming up to just let things and people go. I was chasing after people, and I remember just getting this epiphany, like, well, if I'm chasing, that means you're running away. That means you don't want to be here, And
say it again, one more time for the people way in the back, baby, like me. I was in the back. I was in the back. I was in the back. I wasn't listening.
To chase essentially means that something is running away from you. That means it does not want to be there. And I did everything in my power to hold on, because I suffered from abandonment issues with my father and neglect. And so I felt like anything or anybody that came into my life that I loved, they had to stay, because I wasn't complete or I wasn't whole if they were to leave. And so I went through a hard breakup. I was with somebody for like 7 years. I went through a hard breakup. We were living together. We moved out. Well, he moved out and moved across the street. So I had to, I suffered.
And how you move across the street and you about to have these women at your house. You about to do you. Why you move right?
Yes, I was.
You did that to torture me.
He did. And the Lord kept him. The Lord kept him. And so I remember taking sleeping pills just to get rest. I remember going into church. I was functioning under depression. I was suffering. And I remember just thinking, and I remember the Lord showing me in a dream that you were born with everything that you need. Everything that you need, you already have. That you were born with a crown. That when you came out of your mother's womb, you were already royalty. And I didn't know that. And because of that, I had to spend some time alone and do the work. And that's what I think that's why I kind of started the group, because a lot of people don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the hard work. We can work for our husbands, our children, our careers. But what about your heart? What about your soul? What is it that's in you that makes you feel like this is the best you can absolutely have? Something is broken for you to think that this is good enough. And so I started the group. The Lord has told me that, when I was going through that process, that you are a daughter of Christ. You belong to me, because I suffered with my father leaving, as I stated before. And I remember him ministering to me and said, you needed that isolation. I loved you so much, I had to keep you to myself. That you are a daughter, you belong to me. And so my life journey is to minister to women and to let them know it doesn't matter who comes, who goes. You still got a crown. That don't take the jewels out of your crown ain't going nowhere. It doesn't matter what you've done, where you've been, the mistakes you made, the things that people kind of want to hold over your head. That it does not matter. At the end of the day, when I leave here, I'm leaving out with what I came in with, and that's my crown. And so I started a group on social media. It's called Daughters Only Lounge. And I added lounge because I kind of wanted to be that way. I wanted to be, like Nikita said, relaxed. Women just can let their hair down and be honest, take the makeup off. Let's just be real. Like today, I had a bad day. And today I'm struggling. And for another woman to jump on and say, look, I struggle too. Let's pray together. Let me pray for you. Yeah. That's all. And so it's on my social media page. I'll post it at the end, or I'll put it in the comments or something like that. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you. So the same reasons she spoke about is kind of how I started the whole talk show and the whole tour. We gotta be able to come together and let our hair down. And I really believe that's why we don't really have men that's touring with us, because women need to take our crown back, right? We need to be honest with us. We need to get together and not be messy and not be catty and all that good stuff. So I can honestly say I've had this tour going with people from everywhere for 2 years. And for 2 years, we have gotten along. There has not been any like cattiness, like, no, I have not had that. Thank you, Jesus. I've had people come and go. That's not the issue. But it was not because of cattiness. It wasn't because somebody didn't get along with somebody else. So I absolutely thank God for that. It was really, a lot of people got on this tour last year that had never spoke in public before. And they got on this tour and was like, oh, I can do this. And then they left the tour and they went on to do great, great, great things and have great platforms of their own. So I actually commend those that came on and was like, oh, I can do this. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. So it's been a great journey. But I do believe that there is room to get that started. Like, we need so many platforms. Platforms don't stop with Art of Transparency, honey. This is just one of so many. So I thank you, Letitia, for even starting the Daughters Lounge, because, honey, we be in there talking. So tell me, guys, we got some. Hey, guys. I'm trying to read comments at the same time. Y'all know I'm not good at that. So tell me, if you had to do your book all over again, would you? Marquita, go ahead. Would you do it? Would you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it was a journey for me. It was a journey for me because literally I was going through periods of chasing people. and trying to figure out what was it about me. I remember I had I was in nursing school, and I invited family over to my house, and nobody showed up. I had a bunch of food, and I was standing
Child,
at
I done did that so
the
many
kitchen
times.
sink, and I was just like done, done. And I cried like, Lord, why me? Why don't they like me? Why won't they want to be around me? And and then I was like, sometimes I feel I'm misunderstood because a lot of times I'm a strong personality. And so people feel like when I say things that I'm like being mean to them, or I'm just, I'm overpowering.
Mhm.
And it's only just me being real,
Mhm.
because I don't know how to not say, girl, look at that on your shirt.
So do you think that has to do with your background? Like,
Exactly.
do you think
Yes.
that the way that you come off has a lot to do with maybe the way that you were raised or some things that happened?
Yes.
You think it's all connected?
Yes. And so my mom was like blunt with everything, with everybody. She didn't care what you
Yeah,
said.
my mother, I told y'all my mother left today, and I was like, girl, if you don't go home, I'm not the same
So
Makita.
I started that journey, and it was just like, it started with, what in your life caused you to be this way? And so I started the journey, and as I'm writing the book, of tears are falling. I'm coming to having epiphanies, and coming to a realization. And then when I finished the book, I called my best friend, told her I finished the book, but I'm afraid to put it out. And she was like, "Why are you afraid to put it out?" I said, "Because I feel like it's going to be bigger than me." And she said, "Ain't that what you want it to be?"
Right.
And I was like, "Well, actually, yeah, but I'm afraid that, it will be
That sounds like
way
fear of
more than I
success.
can, way more than I can handle." And she said, "But it's for, you want people to see, what was in the dark comes to the light. Also, breaking generational curses."
Mhm.
Because the thing with me was, I don't want to do what was done to me, and I don't want to do what was done in the past. I want to change things. I want my kids to feel comfortable with coming to me, talking to me. But I don't want to condone bad behavior.
Right.
And so I was going through that process, and I'm like, how do I say it? What do I say? How do I? It took me two years. And when I put it all on paper, I was just like, okay. And it was like, for me, it was like, now that you put it on paper, now it's time to let it go. So whoever don't want to be in your life, or don't, try to be in your life the way that you desire them to be in your life, if they want to leave, let them leave. And then you get over it. And then
What is
you
it?
move
What's the name of
forward.
the book? There, the good and goodbye. Is that it? The good and goodbye. Baby, I'm reading that
Exactly.
book. The good and
Exactly.
goodbye. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm
So
reading
my
that book.
first book is called "What About Me? Mental Illness from a Child's Point of View," because my mom had bipolar, and she since passed on. But she had these episodes, and she had these things going on in her life. And I'm sure if she had a choice, if her brain wasn't sick, she probably would have been a better mother. So I went through the process, and I can't blame my mother. I went through the process of trying to understand the disease, period, and understanding that it's a lot of people with these different illnesses that they normalize. And so you got to understand that in your culture, this is how it works. And
Mm.
so I came to the realization. But I know that for me and my family, the 6 people in the 5 people in my walls that I'm responsible for, I'm going to make sure that they understand that it's okay to not be okay.
That part, that part, that part, that part. I can't say that part enough. It's that part. Because I'm like you. My mother's not a mental health person. And she's a nurse. But she's
Yeah.
not, she's like, ain't no such thing as depression, child back.
Mhm.
But I know, right? Because I suffered from depression. I suffered from
Right.
anxiety. So I go to the therapist. Yes, I will. I think the therapist is amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to the therapist. And it's not about a couch for me. It's about the fact that somebody's here to listen to that, and probably give me some perspective or not perspective, but
Yeah.
I need to get that out of me,
Yeah.
right? I need to go lay on somebody's couch, and you don't even lay on couches for real. Like,
Yeah.
you know, those that
Absolutely.
have never been to a therapist, you really don't lay on the couch. It's a chair. Calm down.
But,
It's really a chair. You just go in and talk to somebody. They
yes,
aren't biased. They gon', you know, it's amazing.
they'll
Like,
know
to
me. They
get
ain't
it
gonna
out
judge me for
is
who,
amazing.
no,
No
what's in my
judgment.
closet.
Yeah. So, Luberta, if you had a chance to do it all over again, now that you've told your story or some of your story, because I truly believe that there are more stories in all of us. So now that you've told some of your story, would you change it? Would you go back and not write the book?
No, I will still write the book because I do believe that the things that I've been through, there was a reason behind it. And the reason is for me to become a survivor, but then also to help the next woman do the same thing, become a survivor.
That part. Oh, that part. CJ, what you think? Would you change it around? Would you not write it?
No, I would definitely write it, because once I wrote I'm doing it, then it just started the rest of my life with I'm doing everything that I want to do. So I even went to, I think it was Kinko's, where I typed up I'm doing it. And then I went to Kinko's. I put it like on like a bunch of paper, like a lot of them on a sheet of paper, had Kinko's to laminate it. And then I made it like bookmarks. And then I had it everywhere. And it's like, it was like a reminder. So everything that I wanted to do. And then when that voice would tell me, nah, you too old, nah, you don't know enough, I would flip out that, I'm doing it. And then I did a lot of things that, I've wanted to do and would let fear stop me from doing. So yes, I would write it again.
So you have an organization too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are doing something with women. Tell us about that, because I don't want to get it wrong. So tell us about the organization.
Okay, so actually I have a nonprofit that came from the book I'm doing it. I went into, I have a nonprofit for girls, and it's a mentoring and personal development group. So it's like a year-long program, and that's been around since 2013. And from that, women started coming up to me as I started sharing more of me and working with the girls, because I had this deathly fear of speaking. And that's one of the things that I'm doing it. I put on the list, I'm doing it. And so when I would
doing it, tell COVID to go away so we can continue to do it.
when I would tell women, when I'm in front of them talking, I'd say how scared I was of speaking. People would come up after the fact and they say, well, you didn't sound like it. I'm like, my knees were knocking. And so after that, I became a life coach and started working with women. So my group is called Confident Woman, She's All That. That's the business. And so I actually work with.
She's all that.
She's
Come
all
on here. I need a shirt. I need
So-
a shirt. I need Confident Woman.
She's all that. So yeah, I actually work with women and just helping them to do the things that they've always wanted to do, but let other people stop them from doing it. So I help women to just get out the box that they're in, that other people have put them in. I have a group called the Fiercely Real Models. These are just real women that want to just live their life of being on the runway. They don't want to get paid for it. They don't want to be models. They just want to have fun. So it's a self-esteem, confidence kind of thing. So those are the type of things that I do with women and in my group. And my group on Facebook is Confident Woman Dream Life. And that's where we all are with the things that we do.
Come on. When I tell y'all, the Art of Transparency has opened up doors for not only myself, but other people. Not saying that door was open way before us, but the doors have just opened. Like people that came in shy, they're no longer shy. People that came in and they offered something to us as well as we offered something to them. When I tell you, this has been just an amazing journey, journey to be on. So, Santresa, would you change it? Would you not write the book?
No, I would rewrite the book. What I learned from writing it, first of all, it took me about 2 years to finish the book. And it was, I think it was like the last couple of days, it took me so long to finish. I cried. It was like I went through the process. Every single emotion, I cried, I worshiped. And what I learned Santrisa all over again. I was just going through a process of developing who I was. I was,
Right.
a teen mom and, a very promiscuous person. And I was just like a girl going wild, church girl going wild, right? So then you come into church and then you have all these secrets that you bury, you don't want to discuss it. So that was my personal journey. My book is entitled Releasing My Secret. A 30-day devotional to support your healing process. So it was a journey that I went on, and I understood that it was certain days I had to go back to because, oops, I didn't forgive somebody. Oops, I still need self-identity. I still need to deal with my self-esteem. It was still things that I needed to go through. So I always say, healing is a process. And that's what I had to learn, because sometimes you feel as if everything's supposed to be instantaneous. And it took me a while to actually learn and appreciate who Santrisa really was. So I would definitely go through it again.
We want microwave. Everything, we want it to be microwave. That, so my mother used to tell me all the time, put my food in the oven when you warm it up. Don't put my food in the microwave. I'll wait. And I used to be like, girl, I need my food in the microwave. But now I'm understanding that, first of all, your food is not evenly heated when it's put in the microwave. You put it in the oven, it's evenly heated, right? So sometimes things take time to warm up. Sometimes things need that conventional oven to make it right. Because that microwave stuff, it ain't right. Yeah. It ain't right. Like, just think about when you put popcorn in the microwave versus the stove. It's just not right. It ain't right. So I just kind of want you guys to talk about, in the event, what is it that you want people to take away from your book? What is it that you want people to take away from who you've become type thing? Because for me, the person that stands before you today is not the person that I was 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I was lost. I was in the bike world. I was promiscuous. I was doing a whole lot of stuff. I was smoking. I wasn't getting high 5 years ago, but I was getting high 8 years ago. And I, with all of that came the person I am today. So I don't regret any of it, because I think all of that is part of my journey. However, that's not who I am today. You're not about to, if you call me on the phone talking crazy, I'm just gonna hang up. We ain't gonna be in the street fighting. But 5-6 years ago, I'd have invited you to my house and gave you my address. And we'd have been in the street fighting. But today, it's just like, okay, that's drama. Click. And I'm gonna put you on the block list, and that's gonna be the end of it. We're not going back and forth. I don't do that on Facebook. I don't do that on any social media. I don't do that on my phone, on my personal phone. We're not doing that. So with that being said, I see me different. Other people see me different. And what I want them to take away from part of my journey that I share is, it gets better. It gets better. Once you learn who you are, it gets better. It gets better. Because at that point, I didn't know who Makita was. I knew who I betrayed to be, or portrayed to be. I knew who the liquor and the weed had me being, but I was upset. I was angry. I was hurt. I was broken. I'm not her anymore. You know what I'm saying? I know me. I'm okay with me. I'm happy with me. I've got some broken pieces, but I'm not broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was a vase, I'd have a few pieces missing because it's broken, but I'm okay. You can still use me. You can put some water in me, you can put flowers in there. I'm okay. I'm not that broken. I got some cracks though. I got some cracks. So what is it that you want people to take away from the books? Letitia, you have the organization, because that's what it's going to end up being. It's a little Facebook group. Like they say, your little business, it's a little Facebook group now. But I believe that it's going to get bigger. It's going to get so much bigger, because she hosts this thing. What is it called? Maxi dresses? Nope. What is it called? Letitia, help me out. Don't make me be out here by myself.
It's the sundress picnic.
Sundress. I knew something about dress, baby. got hundreds of women in dresses
Yeah.
on the beach. Let me tell you about this tan that I don't like. So I need you to host it in the grass. Okay? Love you.
I hope it can happen this year.
Yeah. So I'm saying all that to say, what would you do? What do you want people to take away from all that you do? The group, the sundress in the summer. What is it that you want them to get from that?
Well, I think that for me, I'm grateful for those people that God placed in my life along the way, because eventually He started to like plant people in my life to let me know that I was not by myself. And I think that's one of the tricks of depression and suicidal thoughts and a lot of things that people go through in silence, is that reoccurring thought of I'm by myself and nobody understands.
Somebody always in my ear, I'm by myself. I don't know how to do this. I can't do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's imperative for people to know somebody has been through what you've been through and they made it out. And if they made it out, you can make it out too. So that's my goal, is just to reach somebody. And one thing that I'm grateful for is my story. Like once it's all not necessarily over, but once you look back, it's like, I actually needed to go through that. I need it, and it may be hard while you're in it, but when you come out of it, then you realize that's the reason why I went through that. Some people will come up to you and ask you about your story or ask you about your book, and it's like, I've been through molestation, or I've been abused, or yeah, I've been neglected, I've been hurt before. So, and when those things happen, you kind of look back like, that's why. Because it's for you, you know, and you'll have those it's for you moments along the way. And it's going to keep happening really for the rest of your life. So I would just tell people to endure the process. And that's what my books represent. That's what all the groups represent, is just to keep going. Like, please keep going. Every single day, you got to get enough courage just to keep going. And my pastor told me one thing when I was actually writing the book. He told me, and I was, it was such a low place. It was such a low place. But he told me, if you can get through today, you can get through tomorrow. He was like, I don't want you to worry about the 7 days. Just get through today.
And we'll worry about tomorrow. We'll worry about the next day. But let's talk about today. Yeah.
Just get through these 24 hours. You know, and that's my sole purpose in my books and in everything else that God has blessed me to do, is that it's just to keep going. Like along the way, you need somebody to tell you, you're doing all right. You'll be all right. That it gets better. That's it. That's it. That's the reoccurring theme in everything I do. You're gonna be just fine.
So I'm going to share this about Letitia, because again, she was on the 2019 tour. Baby, she went to Houston. I don't even know what happened in Houston. I don't know. I don't know what happened, but somehow they gave Letitia the mic. Baby, this woman sang us up under the pew. Wasn't no pews there. She sang us under the pew. Houston was amazing, guys. Houston was amazing. And I can just remember when it was her time to speak. She got up there and you can tell she had so much to say, but the spirit was so high. By the time she got up there, I remember her saying maybe 2 or 3 lines, and she was like, if you just want to know, I'm doing all right. And when she said that, you know, people, you know, some people would be like, she doing all right. Okay, well, what's the story? You heard the story in just that statement. I'm doing all right. I've been through all of that, but I'm doing all right. And since then, it's just been like, wow. Now, later on in the tour, she ended up, you know, she traveled with us and told her story and stuff like that. But Houston was just like, that solidified why she was on the tour. You know what I'm saying? That gave me, oh, this is why she's here. Because last year, a lot of people that were on the tour, I had never met them before. Never seen them, never met them, didn't know them from Adam. And they ended up on the tour. And I just, in the back of my mind, being the founder, like, okay, who sent her? Or who sent them? Or why they here? So she did us a great service, honey. She sang, how S-I-N-G. No, baby, she S-A-N-G. She sang us right up under the pews, and it wasn't no pews, but you couldn't have told us there wasn't no pews in that hotel room, baby. We sang, we danced up in there. So I thank you. I absolutely thank you for being a part of the Art of Transparency. You were definitely one of the ones that I wanted to keep. But God said, I get it. Some people left for whatever reason, and some people left because they had bigger things to do. And I believe wholeheartedly she left because there was something she needed to do. And she needed to start her brand, and she needed to start some stuff. So yeah, she can come. She welcome back anytime. So Marquita, tell me, what is it that you want people to take away from your books and your speaking and all of that? If they have just 2 or 3 things that they could just take away from it, what is it?
The major thing is that that was then, and now Marquita is successful in her own right. She all right. I'm an RN with my bachelor's degree. I teach for a nursing program. I maintain it. So I just want people to know that your start does not have to be a finish.
Yeah.
I'm a person who, despite being the girl placed in the corner, the quiet girl who watched everything, the quiet girl who was silenced for one reason or another, that quiet girl is now loud. And she will speak up for anybody. I never looked at a glass as half empty. It's always half full in my life. No matter what. I can be homeless. I can have no roof over my head. I could be sitting out in the rain. But the glass is always half full because I still have faith. The things that I've gone through made me the person that I am today. So without those things, you would not see who I am today. So throughout all of my books, the 3 books that I've written so far, What About Me, A Shot of Faith, which is my nursing journey, which was a real struggle. And then Am I Doing This Right? It's about being a parent, not having a blueprint, and just starting things from what you see is the right order. My children are fine. My life is okay. That's my journey, and if I can get through that journey, you can too. And that's basically it.
I like that. Centrisa, what would you want somebody to take away from the book and all that you've been through, or all that you've told so far?
What I would say to people is that even a strong person can struggle. We just might not verbalize it. We might not come out necessarily and talk to you directly about it. But we have struggles and we have things that we need to overcome, and it is possible. It's okay to be strong, and your family look to you as being strong, and your friends, and you could say, I'm going through something. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because in order for you to obtain total healing from the Lord, you have to learn how to release those things that you're holding on to so that you could be totally healed. So my takeaway to everyone is it's okay to go through something. It's okay to explain that. Like you said, it's okay to sit on somebody's chair, sofa, to go talk to someone. It's okay, because the end result is that you can be totally healed and 100% whole. So
yeah. Luberta, what you got for us? What do you think? What do you want people to take away from the books and all that you're doing? What is it that you want them to take away?
The main thing is it's okay not to be okay.
That part. That part.
Because that is something that I've had to learn, that due to the simple fact that I've always been classified as the strong person. So what people don't realize, that even sometimes even the strongest person, we have weak moments. But sometimes that's so hard for us because we don't think that we're allowed to have those weak moments. But we're human. My feelings get hurt just like everybody else's.
Yes.
So like I said, and I think that's the main thing. And then really just knowing that sometimes bad things do happen to good people,
Yeah.
but then we have choices. We can wallow in them, or we can strive to make a difference, to
Yeah.
change it, to break those generational curses. Or we can just continue to let it just continue to play over and over and over again.
Not on my watch.
We have choices, but we have choices. We have to decide what we're going to do. But the main thing would be, for me, I've been through some things, but my past does not define my future.
That's absolutely.
It will help me to evolve, but it does not define me.
I just think that if we hadn't have gone through what we went through, would we be the people we are today? You know
No.
what I'm saying? Like,
I
if
doubt
I
it.
hadn't have done all of that, I couldn't be the Makita that stands
Right.
before you.
But I
I'd
think
probably
that's why
be
we
somewhere
went through
high.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
But I think that's why we went through those things, to prepare us for this moment.
Yep.
And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to get to you, CJ. So several years ago, right, I would sit in IEP meetings, and people that don't know IEP meetings, it's a behavioral plan for your child in school. I would sit in these IEP meetings for my son and not know nothing that they're talking about because they spoke IEP language, right? That's what, And I'm just like, whatever. And because I was a mother that, was probably just got in at 5 o'clock and this meeting is at 8, baby, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm still drunk from last night. What are we saying? What does he need to do? Bottom line, me, because I'm ready to go, because I need to go lay down. I was her. Not proud of it, but I'm not ashamed of it either. So now I sit at the table with the parents doing IEP meetings, right? I sit in on those meetings. No, I don't perform them because that's not, I don't have a special education title. However, I sit in on those meetings now where I can sit and talk to the parents and talk to them about what this really means. So I look back at all the stuff that I went through with my son and I was like, wow, that was preparing me for where I sit today in this school that goes from K through 12. Baby, do you know how many kids we got with IEP meetings from K through 12? It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. And now we're doing this e-learning thing, but that's a whole nother subject. I'm talking about that on the because that's help me, Jesus. But so CJ, what would you want people to take away from all that you've done thus far?
Do it afraid, because it's going to be lots of things that you're going
Say it
to
again.
afraid to
I
do.
just need you to
Fear
say that one more
paralyzes
time.
you.
Do it what? And then her phone.
I'm sorry, we're having problems here. But
Hey,
fear
they unplugged my
paralyzes
whole
you.
thing earlier, so
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, because I'm having something. But anyway, fear will paralyze you, and so you won't move. So a lot of times you're going to have to do those things afraid. Also, I want, my book is, for women, basically, I want them to don't stay in the box that people will put you in. Their expectations it doesn't define who you are. You define who you are. Age is just a number. And that's a big one with me, because people think when they get a certain age that they shouldn't do certain things, or that it's too late now. And a lot of times we talk ourselves out of, whatever it is. So those are the things that I would want women to take away from my book. Do it. If it's something you want to do it. Don't, listen to, your friends may be telling you one thing you can't listen to. You may have to change your friends. You may have to have courageous conversations
You
You
just
know,
started a
with
whole nother
people,
conversation.
when they want to tell you what you can or cannot do, they may not see your dream because it's not, I'm sorry, I'm having whatever, because
I hear
it's
you,
not
because it's not.
their
I hear you.
dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I agree. I absolutely agree. Being on the Art of Transparency journey, my friends shifted. And I'm not mad at them. I hope they're not mad at me, but my friends shifted. I can't,
Yeah.
and I also can't expect you to support something that you don't understand. You can't expect, you've been getting high with her, you've been drinking with her, you've been kicking it with her, and now you trying to, your life changed. Theirs didn't. She can't, she still loves you. She's still your friend, but she may not necessarily be your biggest supporter. And
Right.
I say she because, of course, I'm female, so I got a lot of female friends. And they shift, right? And then there's that, and I know Letitia can go with me on this one, and all of you guys, actually. Everybody can't go where you're going.
Right.
Everybody can't go. Everybody can't go. I would love to bring the 16-year friendship and the 17. Everybody may have a season, and their season could have been 16 years, 17 years. But that doesn't mean that they are part of this new season. And you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
We got to be okay with that, no matter how much it hurts. That good and goodbye. Come on, honey. Baby, where's this book, baby? We taking the good and goodbye, honey. When she said that, I was like, that is amazing. And I ain't even read the book yet, of course, because it hasn't dropped yet. But that, the title alone, there is a good and goodbye, because I've had to say goodbye to some friends. I've had to kind of, and I'm okay with it. I don't have any grudges against them. It's not like that. It's just that I'm on a new path. I can't sit with you and do some of the things that we were doing. And I can't, I'm not going to tell you that I don't go out. I'm not going to tell you that I don't drink. I can tell you I don't get high. I can tell you that. But I'm not going to tell you that I don't drink or I don't go out. But what I'm not going to do, you're not going to be, baby, you turn that camera on and you're trying to go live, and yeah, Nikita going to be in the corner sitting. You're not going to have me on live looking a mess and all drunk and belligerent, and you're not going to do that to me. And as my friend, you know my brand, and you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. So some people just can't go because they're not used to this new person. So they just can't go. So I'm going to let Letitia take us out of here. Tell me when this book dropping. And I'm calling on Letitia because she is our feature tonight, because the rest of my ladies, they with me all the time. They with me all the time, honey. We about to travel this world. You hear me? Because they gonna let us travel. But they gonna let us travel. We out here. So Letitia, take us out and tell us about when the book is dropping, and then tell us the other names of the book, because they still alive. Whether you got this new book or not, you still got other books. What's this book?
Yeah, so The Good and Goodbye, that was the last book. That's the book I actually brought on tour. I don't know if you remember it. You bought it. You don't even remember.
Baby, I gotta find my books. I got it. I got to find my books. I got to find my books. I gotta find my book.
But the next book that I'm dropping on my birthday, May 22nd, 2020, is called Become It: The Ultimate Guide to Finding Your Purpose and Being It. So that's coming out on my birthday.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know.
I got that excited because this Gemini love, baby.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll wait till September when we can go outside. It's okay.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt.
But I love both of you. Keep us posted on that book. Keep
I
us
got
posted
you.
on that book. Keep us posted on that book. And I'm gonna go look for Good and Goodbye, baby.
Okay.
'Cause I remember buying that book. Yes, I did.
You
But
both.
let me tell y'all, when I go on tour, for those that have seen me, honey, it's this. I don't see this way. I don't see that. I gotta do this because I got so much I got to do. But 2021, they have already told me. When I say they, I'm talking about God, and it's been confirmed. I'm gonna have somebody with me that is going to travel with me so that they can help me. Because it's a lot on one person, and I don't want to put that on somebody else because they got stuff that they doing. So I often do a lot by myself, and it gets overwhelming. But it's already been put in the atmosphere that it's going to be somebody with me that travels with me so they can assist me with the luggages and all of the stuff that I have to take. And I ain't complaining, baby. You see the smile? I'm not complaining because God gave it to me and He going to make a way for me to do it. So I want to thank each and every one of you. Letitia, I love you. And if you ever want to come back, bring yourself on back.
I love you too. Thank you so much for having me.
You are absolutely welcome. Marquita, Centrisa, Luberta, and CJ, I love you, ladies. And you know, we will talk very, very soon. Thank you guys out there in the Facebook world and the YouTube world, because this will be uploaded. I thank you guys for tuning in. You are tuned into the Art of Transparency Talk Show with your host, Nikita Moore. I have a special guest, Letitia Morris, Marquita, Centrisa, Luberta, and CJ. Have a great night, guys.